morning, everyone. I'm Courtney Courtwright. Thanks for joining me for 9 on the positive side. We have lots of good news to get to today, so let's dive right in. We start in Winston-Salem. A 12-year-old has a lot of luck when it comes to finding 4-leaf clovers, and he's sharing his secrets. Chad Tucker goes on the hunt for some luck.
There's one, like right there.
Mills Douglas has an eye for luck.
That's one right there.
He can spot a 4-leaf clover in a jiffy.
Sometimes it's just right there in front of your nose.
He should know. He's been doing it since he was 6 years old.
Sometimes you can find them in these patches.
I had no idea that it would become such a thing.
Yeah, he's got a knack for it.
He does.
This is, well, it's the first one that I found.
The first of many for this pint-sized leprechaun.
And then I found another one and gave it to one of my friends in kindergarten.
He's found so many. They're framed, made into jewelry, but most are given away.
Kind of like you're giving the luck away.
Because when you give them away,
you pass the luck on to another person. Oh, there's one right here, but it's really, really small.
He really has an incredible way of hyper-focusing.
His mom, Hunter, says he not only shares his luck, but his secrets too.
So if it's closed up, you can count 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I don't think there's one in there.
He's just an old soul, and I think that it does take that innate patience and calm to be able to see a 4-leaf clover in a patch of green.
I found one.
No, you did.
Yes, I did.
Really? Well, that didn't take long.
I found one.
The thrill of the hunt and the find never gets old.
1, 2, 3, 4. It's really peaceful, and I really like just like being in my own zone, looking.
And you never get tired of it?
Not really, no, never.
Lessons we all can learn from this 12-year-old. Life really is better when we slow down to enjoy the simple things and share the luck that comes our way.
I did not expect I would find one today.
In Winston-Salem, North Carolina, I'm Chad Tucker.
Usually, yeah, the big ones are definitely more fun to find. Yeah. Or, well, not more. This was so very surprising.
Mills says his secret: search in large, full clover patches, and if you find one, you most likely will find another one in that same patch. It's pretty cool. Now let's talk about heading out of this world. A North Carolina man will be among the next civilian crew to head to space. Jim Kitchen, a UNC professor, will be on a Blue Origin flight later this month. He works at the business school and teaches practice of strategy and entrepreneurship. Blue Origin is owned by billionaire and Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos. It's unclear how much tickets on the flight cost. Kitchen says he's ready for the ride and this.
I think it's going to be really emotional seeing this borderless planet from space. My children were so excited that their dad was going to space, but they were even more excited that Pete Davidson was going.
Liftoff is scheduled from West Texas next week. This will be the 4th human flight for the Blue Origin space program. It's not uncommon to see kids set up a lemonade stand to raise some money, but the 10-year-old you're about to meet wasn't doing it for a new bike or, in fact, anything for himself. He did it to help kids who are caught in the war in Ukraine, trying to get to safety. Doug Dunbar has more.
Each act of kindness, no matter how small, is never wasted.
That's a piece of wisdom Mac Conatzer's mother shares with him almost daily.
He's a kind-hearted little guy, always has been.
On a day when Mac could have been out playing and making himself happy, he chose to think first of children he's never met in Ukraine.
I was watching the news a lot, and I just saw that there were a lot of people evacuating the country, and I didn't want anyone to get left behind.
So today, Mac went to work, mixing up lemonade, setting up a stand, all right in front of Royal Lane Baptist Church in Dallas.
It's $30.
That's great, buddy.
Nobody pays $30 for a glass of lemonade. But there is no limit, we found, as to what some people will pay for the kindness of a young heart.
Anytime I see any young person who has a heart for the world, anytime any young person doesn't live in their little bubble and is aware of the needs of the world, it gets my heart.
Mac's goal was to get at least $500 to send to the charity Save the Children. A little boy with that big heart.
Hi. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
All to help children he's never met. Because as his mom says, no act of kindness is ever wasted.
I think he's committed to break into his piggy bank if he needs to reach his goal.
And what an incredible effort. And if you were wondering how much Mac raised, more than $1,400. Here's a good news update. A Kinston family is thanking a Good Samaritan personally for saving their son. Now, last week, we told you about the Mansfield family and how 12-year-old Weston choked on a bottle cap. Now, this all happened at the Bojangles on North Heritage Street in Kinston. We're happy to tell you, due to our coverage and the power of social media, word got back to the Good Samaritan. Family was able to call him and show their appreciation. They might even meet too. A Greenville school raising money to help a 6-year-old girl exceeding their goal this week. The Jacquard School Art Club selling more than 580 shirts at $20 a piece for Clara Thompson's Service Dog Fund. Their efforts will help the Thompson family, especially 6-year-old Clara, with expenses that come with having a service dog. The family is hoping Clara will have her medical alert service dog by Christmas. For more information, including to see this full story and how to donate, just go to our website, WNCT.com.
Put on the glasses and immediately saw a red car, and that was my first time seeing red.
The inspiring story out of Nebraska. Friends coming together to help this man see color for the first time. And a little later, lost and found. The incredible journey of this stuffed animal and the reunion with family. This month, Not on Your Side is highlighting remarkable women in our communities. Today, we're taking you to Kinston to learn more about Carolyn Dawson, a strong, remarkable woman any community would be proud to have. Everywhere she goes, she leaves her knowledge and gives her heart to those who need it most.
I survived the storm.
The Lord gave me the words to that song, I Survived the Storm.
Carolyn Dawson's life has many chapters. The hardest ones, losing her husband and son to cancer in 2012.
4 months, 7 days between them passing.
Coming out of the hard chapters and pages can lead people like Carolyn to great things.
I made it. I survived. That's why the title came in. I survived the storm.
Becoming the person she is today.
Mind-boggling. I'll sit back and think about what I've done and to help people.
This former public school employee.
I love kids. I could take a kid if they be attentive, and in a month he's reading.
Taking her passion for teaching.
If you make learning fun, the kids are just like piranhas. That's what I call them. I call them little piranhas because they eat up everything you give them.
Feeding knowledge and lending an ear to all who need it.
They like for someone to care. They're reaching for that love and that understanding.
It started making a difference.
Began to talk and tell him about it. He began to take that red band down off his head. He took it off. He said, "Here." I said, "So you heard what I said?" I put it in the garbage. And I said, "So you have a change of mind?" I said, "Don't ever let anybody persuade you to go down the wrong road."
An impact even felt at this Kinston church.
Their mind be renewed, so that way they stay busy. They can't involve themselves to anything that would bring harm to them.
Dawson helping bring the nonprofit Renewing the Mind community outreach to light.
You have to get to that core of that individual. Talk to them and just tell them, clear your mind.
She says it takes time.
I can find good in every individual. I don't care who they are, what they've done. If they give me a minute,
patience,
and you have to find out where they are. Once you find out where they are, you can go from there.
And love.
If you just tell them the truth and show them that love, you don't have any problem.
The 3 keynotes to people renewing themselves, just like Dawson has.
Let's grow together. Let's just love each other and get along. And the world, if it rotates on love, it'll be a better place. It's a better place if they would just renew their mind.
Throughout this month, Not on Your Side is recognizing the contributions women have made to our nation and local communities through what we just saw you, the Remarkable Woman Series. To learn about the semifinalists of our Remarkable Woman Series, just head to WNCT.com and click the On Your Side tab. There, learn how these women are inspiring, leading, and forging the way for other women across the East. During our 5:30 newscast, each Tuesday this month, we'll highlight a nominee leading up to the announcement of the overall winner. Now check this out. You can call it a stellar tantrum. We're talking about these new pictures of a space phenomenon. The Hubble Space Telescope capturing an infant star shooting out of a pinkish glowing stream of gas at supersonic speed. The star and its outburst are located in the Orion Nebula. That's about 1,250 light years from Earth. Wow.
I'm getting used to it. I just accept it. At first, I just couldn't believe it.
Setting records like never before. Coming up on 9 on the positive side, how siblings are taking center stage for their age. Welcome back. What started as an argument with a Nebraska man and his friends about what color a stain on his sock was turned into discovering that he was colorblind. His friends talked about getting him the glasses that help colorblind people see colors, and it finally happened for his 19th birthday. Nicole Griffith shares his story.
I've heard of bricks being red. I didn't know how true that was.
Through Zane Stubendek's eyes, he sees a lot of grays.
I know that it's green, but I see gray right here.
That was until a few weeks ago. For his 19th birthday, 7 of his friends pitched in $250 total to get him a pair of Enchroma glasses that help colorblind people see color. They even captured the moment when his world was bright.
Do they work over there?
Dude, bro, he's shaking.
He's shaking so bad.
Oh, yeah, I put them on and got emotional, and I was just nervous that they wouldn't work at first, but I put on the glasses and immediately saw a red car, and that was my first time seeing red.
I've told him for a long time, I just never knew when it was gonna happen. So like, now that I was finally doing it for him, I was very excited. So then I got happy, and then he started crying, and then I had to hold my tears back.
Zane's friends have been by his side since high school, helping him pick out clothes and making sure he's matching along the way. They're the type of friends who are literally brightening his life.
The only reason that I was able to experience that is because of them. So I couldn't be any more grateful to have those type of people around me.
Now, the Enchroma glasses that Zane has are for outdoor use, but the company is sending him a pair for indoors free of charge. And get this, they've also made him a brand ambassador for the company. One Alabama man is taking his birthday celebrations to new heights with a unique challenge. Take a look at this. In the rock climbing community, it's tradition to climb as many routes as your age on your birthday. Rob Donson climbing 70 for his 70th birthday. He did this all inside a fitness facility, which he says made the challenge possible.
And doing it here in the gym makes it a lot easier, because if I had to do 70 routes outdoors, it'd be much more difficult. So here I am.
He says he's proud he's healthy enough to continue climbing at his age. The sport keeps him active, and he says the most priceless part is the friendships he's made over the years. One Wisconsin woman is officially a record holder with her 3 siblings. The record is having the highest combined age is the highest in the world. Melissa Zygowitz shares her secrets to a happy and long life.
At 100 years old, Jerry Bulger has done it all.
I'm getting used to it. I just accept it. At first, I just couldn't believe it.
Being a Guinness World Record holder is certainly a new experience.
It's just unbelievable. You know, I had one aunt on my dad's side that went to 103.
Jerry and all 3 of her siblings have the highest combined age achieved by 4 living siblings in the world. Together, their ages add up to nearly 384 years.
Her sister is 97.
She's about 4 years.
Yeah.
Younger.
And her other brother is 95, and then Dick, the one who lives in Sheboygan, is 93.
Jerry currently lives at Clement Manor in Greenfield. The retirement community held a celebration for her on Monday. Her daughter Ginny says a family member nominated them to the Guinness World Record.
It's just remarkable, and that they're all in fairly good health for their ages. We're blessed. Yeah, and I'm afraid I'm going to live that long.
Even up until this day, at 100 years old, she is still thriving.
Teresa Gatto is the Chief Operating Officer at Clement Manor.
We were just astounded that we had a world record inductee living here.
She says Jerry has become a celebrity in the community.
Everybody knows Jerry, and she is walking the halls and greeting people all the time. She attends many of the activities.
She also says she has a lot of passion for the Brewers.
She'll make sure that we know that the Brewers are playing on that day.
I'm a baseball fan.
As for the secret to living a long and happy life, Jerry has this advice.
Eat good vegetables and don't try to get too skinny.
In Greenfield, Melissa Zigowitz, CBS 58 News.
Can you give him a big hug? Yeah.
A heartwarming moment next on 9 on the positive side. The Lanes Airport soared to for this little boy and his best friend. Now for a touching reunion in Colorado. It happened at Denver International Airport, where a young boy got a treasured possession back. Shauna Khalifi shares the story.
The Carey family from Highlands Ranch was taking a trip to Wisconsin this past Christmas, and of course 3-year-old Archie had to bring his new stuffed puppy along with him to keep him company. But somewhere along the way, the stuffed puppy got lost, and today they were finally reunited. You see it? You see it? Yeah! Archie was all smiles when he finally got to hug Puppy Elf again. Archie got the stuffed animal for Christmas before the trip, and they instantly became best friends. But after their plane landed in Milwaukee, Puppy Elf got lost. So the Milwaukee airport posted a photo on Facebook hoping to reunite the puppy with its owner, and Archie's dad recognized him right away.
And he goes, "Is this his? Like, they're saying it's from Denver." I'm like, "Oh my gosh." And I looked through my phone and all the boys got TSA stickers because they were so good going through security. I'm like, I think that is his.
After the reunion, Archie and Puppy Elf hurried home to play and make up for lost time.
Are you going to go home and play with Puppy Elf?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you give him a big hug for us?
Can you give him a big hug?
Yeah. And Archie and his mom are both very grateful to both of these airports for coordinating to get Puppy Elf back home. Archie even got a new stuffed airplane to add to his collection. At Denver International Airport, Shauna Khalifi covering Colorado First.
Now check this out, an Illinois aquarium releasing this new children's book, but with a twist, with some of the stars of the book, penguins Edward and Annie autographing the pages with their flippers. How fun is this? The sales from the book will go towards penguin care and conservation for penguins in the wild. And that's all the time we have for today, but we have one last thing to show you, of course. An otter that was just a little excited, you could say, about eating some ice. Have a great weekend, everyone. Thanks for watching 9 on the Positive Side.